All right. So, welcome everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to Living a Life of Purpose with Busayo Oladeji. Today, I have a very special guest joining me on this call, and we'll be discussing a very important and sensitive topic. I have a senior lawyer with me today on the call, and she will be speaking to us from her plenty wealth of experience in terms of child abuse. So, Doctor, good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Welcome,
madam. Good
and
afternoon. Yeah, thank you
thank
for
you so
what
much
you're
for
doing
joining.
too. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, please, can you just introduce yourself? Let me see.
Okay. Hello everyone, and special thanks to Madam Sola for allowing me to be on our show. This is a
Thank you for
laudable,
coming.
laudable work you're doing, and thank you, ma'am. So my name is Dorcas Abah. I'm a lawyer. I'm a social development consultant or practitioner. So majorly my work is based on child development, social development for women and children. And when I say social development, what I'm saying is that mom is in a meeting. Sorry. I'm saying that the welfare of women and children, we talk about the welfare of women and children in terms of child abuse, sexual child abuse, or domestic and sexual violence for women, you know, campaign awareness, advocacy for policy, and then for social change development. Basically, that's what my job revolves around. And then aside that, I'm a practitioner of peace and conflict management, that is dispute resolution, um, peaceful coexistence amongst women, amongst humans generally, and then in the society, because I believe that when we live peacefully, we have an healthy society and healthy family, and then an healthy nation as well. And then I do my legal private practices as well. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. It's a very huge qualification that we are really doing a lot. And like I mentioned earlier, it's quite sensitive in our society. And I'm so glad that we are joining me today on this call to educate everyone out there on the issue of child abuse and on sexual violence that is practiced, and also to educate us very well. Because I realize that a lot of people, a lot of women, so to say, because it's more focused on mothers. They really don't understand the dangers and the negative effects of child abuse, sexual child abuse on our children. We don't really understand. And from what you have said, you mentioned sexual child abuse. It means that there are different kinds of child abuse. Am I correct? Okay. So, but today we would actually limit our discussion to sexual child abuse. Okay, so doctors, I'll be asking you some questions just to educate everyone, and even to educate me. I want to learn on the issue of child abuse.
Yeah.
Let's focus on child abuse, then we can, on another day when we invite you, we'll talk about domestic violence.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you very much. So, number one, I would like to ask, can you briefly explain your background and experience in child abuse law? That's what you do majorly, and I really practitioner. So, please, can you explain?
Okay. So my involvement in child abuse practices or campaign awareness and all of that started from when I was in the university as an undergraduate at the University of Ibadan. As a law student, we 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 had this clinic we call Women's Law Clinic, and what we do basically is that we go. I think it's once a week. Yes, once a week, and then we go to this Women's Law Clinic, and then we hear cases from indigent women, Then I think we normally have close to about 10 to 15 clients in a day. They come to like talk to us about what they are going through, what their children are going through, how the faculty of law could help. That was how my interest actually started from. And then leaving school, and all of that. So I came back to Lagos, and then I found myself in an organization which is FIDA, and it's basically what FIDA, what they do. And I loved it, then. And as time went on, I felt like this is actually a cause to be dedicated towards, and that's how my interest, got strongly developed as well. So in my journey, um, usually when I come across women or children going through all of these abuses, sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental, and a whole lot psychological, I tend to put myself in their shoes and see that if this thing happens to me, how, like, what would the feelings be like, or my child? These are some of the driving force that has kept me going in the journey. So can you please say that question again? So let me put my thoughts together.
Okay, so I'm asking you your background in child
Okay.
abuse law.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I started
Yeah, so that's
to
how
understand.
I transcend from being a law student and then to becoming a full-time lawyer. And then most times when we hear cases of child abuse and all that, it's a form of panel, and then each case is being delivered or is being handed over to a particular lawyer, and then the lawyer follow through to making sure that the matter is followed through every line, through every principles. And then, yeah, but usually we'll probably do a sort of fair hearing. When you report a case, we want to hear or we want to investigate, and in the course of investigation, of course, we can't do that. We involve the police, and the police have been very, 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 very collaborating with us. Once we inform the police station, whichever locality or station or jurisdiction, they spring to action immediately, because Lagos State, where I currently reside, child abuse is a serious crime. The government is very, very serious about it. And if you notice in Lagos State, in fact, we have child offenders register. We have registered that every person who has been found guilty or sentenced to a form of punishment or so has his or her name documented in that register. So that's to show you that Lagos State government is doing so much, massively, so much in making sure that this menace, because it's actually a menace, is the pandemic. It's everywhere. You can smell abuses everywhere around us. So Lagos State government is doing so much to curb this menace. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. So you have heard this is an experience personnel, this is an experienced person in terms of child abuse. And if I heard you correctly, Doctor, you said while you're in University of Ibadan, you hear up to 10 to 15 cases in a day.
Yes.
Meaning,
Yes, and it's not like 10, 15 cases though. You will see like rows, like huge numbers, but that's the only, like, those are the numbers we can take for that day. Sometimes we may have to even refer them to law firms that do cases on pro bono. We may have to give them an appointment for another day. So you see a whole lot of them coming back every week, and some of them, they come for follow-up, because when you report a case, we'll follow it through, and then some of them will come for follow-up. Sometimes families will even come and like, no, you cannot report this person, you cannot report your husband, you cannot report your father, you cannot report this is a family matter. And it's not a family matter anymore. This is a human rights matter, because the right of a child in fact, it is no longer a family matter, So that's it.
Thank you so very much. So I'll move into the next section because I know that most people do not even know the signs or what to look out for inside abuse. They don't even know what is child abuse. So please, doctor, will you help us from your wealth of experience so that we know the common signs that we should look out for in child
Okay.
abuse? What is the sign of child abuse? So that we know say, oh, come back to rain. I'm sorry, I have to speak in that vernacular. The person is just playing with the child. So what are the signs? Please,
Okay.
thank you.
Yes, our signs, indicators, like red flags, all of these things means the same thing. You know, it in fact, these things are not even, we can't even exhaust it. We can we just I will just touch on very few points, because as parents, sometimes people even think, are you sure you're not being paranoid in this whole child abuse? Because when I see some signs that is glaring like this and the parent is clueless or the guardian is clueless, I'll be like, oh God. And because it's a sensitive matter, you don't just want to jump at it. You get. So when I see myself, when I see indicators, when I see signs, and I'm being careful even how to like present it. You get, so that you don't, is a very sensitive matter. So I'll just get right on it. So sometimes we have physical signs, which for me is like even
Okay.
the height of it, physical signs.
I,
Like sometimes when you are bathing your child and the child is complaining, is having pains in maybe a vagina or penis or anus or his anus and all of those things, and unexplainable pains, like, and then probably you get to check, you see bruises. In fact, just any, the pain must not even be so excruciating, like so painful, but very slight pain, discomfort. I rather say discomfort. So you should probe
by the time.
further. You should probe further. Okay,
Okay.
and then when these pains or these bruises are like, they come with unexplainable explanation or something, you should start
Okay.
probing. You probe further. Sometimes too, we see something such as emotional abuse, like, you know as African that we are. Most times,
Yeah.
when I see some parents, they abuse their children, they see it as normal. I'm sorry to say, I speak Yoruba. You see somebody saying that ori e o
Okay.
da,
Hmm.
like something like, maybe, the way they
Okay.
would say that your brain is not working well, things, they have
Your head is
emotional
not working well.
damage. Like,
Oh,
you see a child,
understand.
a child is a child suddenly just withdraw from being an
Hmm.
active child, and then it becomes a
That
bit
is
secluded. When you see a child
okay.
that is going from, like, let's say, energy 10 to like energy 5 or even 2, you should start probing, you should start asking questions. When the change is so drastic, you see low self-esteem, children, they are very expressive. They are very expressive. I have a 5-year old. The kind of questions my son asks me, sometimes I take some minutes to think before responding, because these questions are, in fact, before you even finish answering one question, the boy is coming with another
Hmm.
question. You get. So a child is supposed to be very energetic, age appropriate energy, but then when you suddenly discover that a child that has been so expressive suddenly just entered into a shell or something, you should start asking questions, you should start probing. Then we see neglect as well. Sometimes when you see some signs that, this child, or in school, you see a child that comes to school always unkept, always dirty, you know, like that. That's a sign that there is neglect. And neglect is a form of abuse. You get, you don't, it's not until when a child has physical bruises and all of those things. Neglect, when you neglect a child's needs, a child's basic needs, like cleanliness, like attention and all of those things, those are abuses. So if you see, like, for teachers now, if you see a child that comes in, unnecessarily so rough and all that, it's most likely something is happening in the house or somewhere wherever the child is coming from. So these are indicators as well. We also have sexual indicators, like for instance, when a child is asking some questions that ordinarily that child, except if the parents, some parents are very, very educated, that they have a way of introducing child sexuality to children at the very early stage, so they understand some words, some terminologies, they understand that. But if you know that your child does not know this thing, and then one day your child comes in and say, mommy, I saw a pink penis, or I saw a black penis or something, you should start asking questions, because sometimes some of these indicators may come in form of pornography. Some children are being exposed to pornography by adults. You get? So when a child starts asking you questions that, mommy, if this and this, or if that and that, no, those are indicators. Child appropriate languages should be very, very, it's a sign that something is going on. We can even, going back to school now, some indicators are also there, like child caregivers. When a child is scared, or the fear of a particular person or a particular caregiver is a sign. Not necessarily that there is a form of abuse, but you just need to probe what is happening. You just need to probe, because some people are actually very authoritative teachers, authoritarian and all of that. But when these things are not authoritative or authoritarian, something is happening. So you have to, like for me, when I was trying to get my child enrolled into a school, when I go to any school, the first thing I ask is your child sexual abuse policy. What are your policies? What do you have in place to checkmate caregivers, teachers, and all of that? What are your policies? I want to see what you have, not just saying it. I want to see what your policies have. So you need to ask a lot of questions. So we have so many signs, but let's just,
Okay, thank you. So I want to ask, is there a way that this can be reported? And for those that report, perhaps not the parents of the child now, maybe a third party, probably whistleblower, is there protection for such person? And how can they actually report? Some people do not even know how to report.
Yes. Yes, I understand that, especially in the kind of society we found ourselves, reporting a case is like, do you know what you're getting yourself into? Especially when the reporter becomes something else, you get. So how do we report? We have local organizations, like it depends on the jurisdiction that you are. Like in Lagos State, if you go to Alausa, and you say you want to report this kind of matter, it's just a 2-second description. They send it to DSVRT, and that is Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team. Response team, in the sense that it is quick, it is app. You get. So anywhere you are in Lagos State, you need to report any of these cases. Go to Alausa, and they even have centers. You just ask for DSVRT. And then I can drop their hotline probably after now, so you can share on your page, And then even our local police stations, there is one thing Lagos State government have done, and it's pretty amazing. Each police station has what we call gender team, gender units. So when you go to any police station, those days of you want to go and report, especially in rape cases, and then you get to a police station and then they start asking you, what were you wearing? And what happened? What time did you go there? And all of those things. Those things are no longer, they are bygones. In fact, they are now a thing of the past. So when you go to any police station, just ask for gender team. This set of police officers, they are trained, well trained to respond to issues of this nature. They know how to, they know where to, and they even have a way of prosecuting it without the reporter getting involved. Do you understand? If you want it anonymous, that's fine. But people who are special and team in the police force, in the police department. And I trust me, when you get to that department, your case is just, everything will be made easy for you, because these are not just everyday police officers. They are trained to handle this kind of case. And then we have child protective services, like organizations, like we have Tese Yara Foundation. You can report cases there. I think they have offices around Lagos. They have, the one I can remember is they have Bagaza, I think Ilupeju as well. Then we have FIDA. FIDA is International Federation of Women Lawyers.
And we have,
yes. And we have branches all over the country. Each state in Nigeria has a branch of FIDA. In fact, in Lagos State, we have 5 branches of FIDA in Lagos State. We have in Ikorodu, Epe, Badagry, Lagos, Ikeja, Yaba. We have five branches in Lagos State. That's for you to know that this matter is a serious matter. So if you have any issues, or if you see something and you want to say something, you can go to any of these centers to report your. And trust me, hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Okay. Check your. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Check your. Okay, go on. Yeah.
You can hear me now, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So like I was saying, in Lagos State alone, we have 5 branches of FIDA, and we have in Epe, we have. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we have Ikeja branch. We have Yaba, which is the Lagos mother branch, and then we have in Ikorodu. So there are a host of organizations you can report to. Then you can also do. I think there is Iweti Foundation. They hear this kind of cases as well. There is Mirabel Center. We have a whole. I'll make sure I get all their outlines and then send them to you, ma'am.
Okay, we have like 10 more minutes to end this. Okay, so just briefly, I was going to ask you the types of child abuse, but you have mentioned them. Please let me know if I'm correct. You have mentioned sexual abuse, you have mentioned emotional abuse, and then you have mentioned neglect.
Yeah.
So can you just briefly add to
each of them,
the other kinds of child abuse?
Okay, so we can do verbal abuse. Verbal abuse, that's a whole lot. This thing is a form of abuse that leaves. I think you are out. Can you still hear me? Okay, can you hear me now?
That's again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We have to record again. Went up. And so we were on the different kinds of child abuse. So let's record again.
It's still recording though.
Okay, all right. So let's go on.
Okay. So I was talking about verbal abuse. Okay, you are out again.
Going us out.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So I was talking about verbal abuse. This is the kind of abuse that it may not actually have immediate effect on a child, but in the long run, the child stores all of these things. You get, and then it becomes trauma. It becomes a mental issue. For instance, when you constantly tell a child that you cannot amount to anything, your mates are doing this one, your mates are doing that one. How can you come home with 50 over 100? I look at Emeka. Emeka is getting 80 over 100. Are you?
Not even Emeka, even the sibling.
Exactly, the immediate sibling. So you start comparing the child's ability. So this child will grow up to feeling that is not enough. She can never be enough. And this is a long time trauma that probably would throw into something negative in the long run. You get, so verbal abuse is another form of abuse that should not even happen. before this thing throws us out, I want to say something that a child's welfare, mental welfare, emotional welfare, you know, general well-being of a child should be the paramount and ultimate desire of every parent or guardian. Because guardian, in the sense that you don't even have to be the birth parent of this child before you treat this child rightly. You know, I love how we grew up. Like as a child, it was a communal life. Whereas we can go to anybody's house. Our parents can leave us with anybody. You know, it's like a village. It was like a village. Unlike now, if you want to leave your child with someone, you have to think twice. You understand? Because right in your, like under your roof, we have child abuses. How much more outside your roof? You know, I wish we can still go back to that kind of communal life we had then, where me, because my mom was a churchy person, and she was a businesswoman as well. You know, we'll probably after school, we'll be in someone's house from afternoon till like night when she gets back. Or on Sundays after church, we may not be home until like 7, 8 p.m. You know, but we were in the care of other people, safe hands. So I wish we can even go back to some of those things that we had in place, you know, those is, but then life will have to go on, you know. And then another form I think we've not talked about would be, you know, some cultural and religious belief system. Cultural and religious belief system. For instance, female genital mutilation, FGM. Some cultures still practice it in Nigeria. Yes, female genital mutilation. You know, this is a chronic abuse on a girl child. And apart from, I really don't understand in fact, I've tried to research on the benefits they kind of think it's giving, but there is really no benefit. You know, because this child is prone to bleeding to death. This child is prone to diseases. You know, it hosts a host lot of negativities around FGM. You know, and this has to stop. You know, that's like a cultural belief. Also, we have cultural and religious belief that still practice child marriage. You know, the Child Rights Act is, you know, this is like a story for another day. You know, we talked about it, but I just want to touch on it briefly. You know, you cannot give a girl's hand in marriage. You cannot give it, let me not say a girl, you cannot give a child's hand in marriage, because this child is, you know, it's not even aware of what is happening. Do you understand? You cannot betroth a girl that does not understand the meaning of betrothal. You get, and we need to see that a child is a child and should be treated as a child. You get, and we have exactly. So we also have other religious beliefs that don't probably believe in medicals. You know, this age and time, you still don't want to take a sick child to the hospital. Like, let's stop it. A sick child, you still don't want to take, you say you don't believe in medicals, you don't believe in medication, you don't believe in God is the giver of wisdom. And God has made doctors to have wisdom to be able to like treat people. You understand? The same God you are trying to fight for has won the battle.
He's the one that gave that wisdom.
Exactly. So it's also a form of abuse. You don't, a child does not have access to medicals. You know, that's a form of abuse, you get. So I think I've touched actually on most of this. And then I think we have child exploitation too. Child exploitation. Some people that they don't know any other person to bring to their house unless a minor. You bring a minor to come and take care of another minor. I don't understand it. I don't understand a child abuse. I don't understand it. A child is taking care of another child. I don't get it. You know, sometimes I see when I go to hospital, I see a child carrying a bag for a newborn mommy. I don't understand. Your own child is in school and this child is carrying bag to the hospital. Sometimes when I see these things, because of the kind of society we have, there is a level at which you can engage conversation. Our time is yes, we need to really go so that we don't get caught up with time. Yeah.
Okay, so I've been able to learn so much, but I would like to ask you one more thing before we go. It's very important.
Yeah.
So what is the punishment that is meted out to a child abuse? I know, if I'm right, I think the one that is actually punishable, that has jail terms and all that, is that of sexual abuse, because some people will think they will not do anything. Well, let's not waste our time. So please, I want you to tell us, you handled a lot. What are those punishment? What's the punishment that is meted out to a child abuser?
Okay. Like I have said, we have different form of abuses, and
Thank you for watching, and please note that is the part 1 of the video. The part 2 of the topic would be uploaded very soon. Do not forget to drop your comments, like and share, and please, most importantly, do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye everyone.